Hello, and before we get into this E.G.O review, I just want to say that we are pretty much halfway through. Heathcliff is the 6th center out of 12, and after him, we're moving on to the 7th center, which means we're going to be halfway through pretty much. And I think that's just amazing. And what's also amazing is the support that you've been showing me. The comments, man, come back from a hard day on the roof, seeing the comments, man, it makes my day. So, let's not drag it on any longer, and let's get into reviewing Heathcliff's Śūnyatā E.G.O. Heathcliff's Śūnyatā Tad Rūpam is its full name, but I'll just call it Heathcliff's Śūnyatā. It is a Hilo E.G.O with an 18 base, plus a coin, and deals blunt damage with an attack weight of 3. Before attack, at 15 or more SP, you gain an additional 2 attack weights, which is pretty common. You're going to be using this as an awakening. If you have lower than that, you're probably going to be using Corrosion, so it's a pretty easy conditional and a pretty consistent 5 attack weight. But on hit, inflict 2 attack power down next turn, which is very useful. And at last, after attack, heal 25 SP of 4 other allies with the least SP, which is a very good SP heal. The passive of E.G.O, Diana. Raise your max HP by 50% of the identity's base HP when you recover from staggered state. Then heal 15% of the max HP, but if you're at less than 30%, you heal 25% instead. 3 times at max per encounter, and once you beat the encounter, your health goes back to normal, as you would assume, but fairly good passive, all things considered, especially for a tank ID like Heathcliff. Very good for that ID. When you use the E.G.O, you're going to have to be losing 25 SP, as the most he's, well, pretty much all he's do. You're going to have to cough up 2 Wrath resources, 2 Lust resources, 2 Sloth, and 2 Gloom, which makes it cost a total of 8 resources, which is, it's a little bit above average for most he's, but it's not too far off. But your resistances will change to Fatal to Wrath, Ineffective to Lust, Endured to Sloth, and Fatal to Envy, which is, well, it's alright, I suppose. It's no WoW endurances or resistances, but at the same time, it's no Zayn. If you decide to crow this E.G.O, your roll will change to a 33 base, negative 15 coin, blunt damage, and attack weight of 3. Before attack, at 15 or, well, negative 15 or lower SP, attack weight plus 2. Which you're crowing a Hilo E.G.O, so you're going to be using a lot of sanity, which it makes this a very, very, very easy conditional to meet. But on hit, inflict 3 defense level down on 1 random other ally, which I don't know how to feel with this. If it's your ally, then it's pretty bad. But if it's an enemy, then that's pretty good. But it's this turn, it's not next turn. So if you're slow, then it won't really do anything. But still, if you're fast, then that's pretty risky. But you gain 1 or 2 defense level up next turn, and you gain 1 damage up next turn, which is pretty useful. But Tails hit, you heal 4 SP on self, and Tails hit, you inflict 1 fragile. 1 fragile on maximum like 5 enemies is pretty useful. Although it would be better if it was next turn, but beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Now, talking about how this E.G.O looks in the drip category, I gotta say it is insanely high up there. Its awakening being very clean, but its corrosion being very disgusting, I suppose. Very, very yucky. But they're both good. I like them both, so I'll give that a whopping 9. For the strength of this E.G.O, it's going to be pretty solid. The Corrosion has a decent roll, and the Awakening has an alright roll. But they both have pretty good attack weights, being 5. And on your Corrosion, you inflict 1 fragility on Tails hit, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're just corroding, and you have negative 45, and you hit that, and then you hit him again, and you hit him again, you see it's gonna add up. It's gonna add up quite quickly. But even if you don't hit that, you're giving yourself a little bit of damage up next turn, which is pretty good. And I gotta give this a whopping 8. It's nothing crazy, like nothing insane, but it's also nothing to scoff at. It's very good. Now, this E.G.O is a pretty useful one, I would have to say, by being able to inflict some attack powers down, inflict some fragility, being able to give yourself like more health and getting a little bit of recovery after staggers. It has a lot of uses, not even to mention the heal 25 SP on 4 other allies with least SP. That's very good. So I guess I'll give it a 9 for use. Yeah. 9 seems pretty fair for usefulness. Very good E.G.O, I have to say. Well, that was the E.G.O. It was a pretty good E.G.O, and I like how it focuses on support instead of just pure damage. And it's also got a very interesting passive. Although we don't have too much tank Heathcliff IDs, we do have one, though. So, it is very useful for Heathcliff. So, yep, that's about it. Hope you'll have a good one.